Get the unmissable news stories of the day.
This is the Beijing Hour.
Examining the events that impact and shape China and the rest of the world. This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you every weekday. Now here's your host.
Shane Bigham with you on this Monday, July 6, 2026. You're listening to the Beijing Hour, coming to you live from the Chinese capital. On today's program, the presidents of China and Montenegro have exchanged congratulations to mark the 20th anniversary of diplomatic ties. Public mourning continues in Iran following the weekend farewell ceremony for the country's late supreme leader. And China sent another 80 tons of humanitarian aid to support quake-hit Venezuela. In business, China's enacted new A-share trading rules to curb speculation and boost liquidity. In sports, Norway pulls off a major upset at the FIFA World Cup. In culture and entertainment, China's summer box office has reached another milestone. Now the day's top stories. Chinese President Xi Jinping and his counterpart from Montenegro, Jakov Mladić, have exchanged congratulations to mark the 20th anniversary of diplomatic ties. President Xi said the two countries have upheld respect, equality, and cooperation over the past 2 decades, setting an example of friendly relations between countries of different sizes. President Mladić said Montenegro and China have developed friendly and cooperative relations based on mutual respect and understanding. He added that Montenegro is willing to take this anniversary as an opportunity to further strengthen bilateral ties, expand cooperation across various fields, and contribute to world peace and development. Jovana Todorovic is a spokesperson for the Democratic People's Party of Montenegro. During an interview with Wang Chao, she said her country's infrastructure cooperation with China has seen fruitful results.
This year marks the 20th anniversary of diplomatic relations between China and Montenegro. How would you assess the current state of bilateral relations, and what achievements stand out over the past 2 decades?
20 years after the establishment of diplomatic relations, I can say that the relations between Montenegro and the People's Republic of China is stronger than ever. Over the past 2 decades, our two countries have worked together on many important projects, especially the infrastructure and development. This cooperation was strengthened, that friendship between our countries. The most important project in the construction of the first section of the motorway, one of the biggest infrastructure projects in Montenegro's history. It is an important investment for the country's future. I also like to highlight the reconstruction of the Đurđević-Tara Bridge, which was completed with a donation from People's Republic of China. And I want to thankful to your country because of that. This bridge is not only an important landmark and tourist attraction, but also a symbol of the relationship and good cooperation between our two countries. And I believe that Montenegro and China will continue to build strong relations based on mutual respect and cooperation for the benefit of both of our countries.
That's Jovana Todorovic, a spokesperson for the Democratic People's Party of Montenegro. Namibian President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah is in China for a 7-day state visit at the invitation of President Xi Jinping. This is her first trip to the country since assuming office. Xu Hua has more.
The Namibian president landed in Guangzhou, South China's Guangdong province on Sunday, kicking off a 7-day state visit to China. This visit comes as the two countries celebrate the 36th anniversary of the diplomatic ties. China and Namibia established diplomatic relations in 1990, and since then, bilateral ties have developed steadily. In 2018, the two countries elevated their relationship to a comprehensive strategic and cooperative partnership. China is Namibia's main trading partner. In 2025, bilateral trade reached $1.85 billion, up 35.7% year-on-year. China's foreign ministry said the visit will elevate China-Namibia relations to a new high, contribute to building an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for the new era, and support the Global South's pursuit of strength through unity.
That was Xu Hua reporting. The Namibian president's visit comes as our country and China seek to build on decades of cooperation in trade, infrastructure, mining, and technology. The two sides are also working to implement commitments made at the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit in Beijing in 2024. Enoch Sokolia has more.
China and Namibia's diplomatic relationship dates back to March 1990, just days after Namibia gained independence. 35 years later, the two countries have a comprehensive, strategic, cooperative partnership built on mutual respect and shared development goals. Today, China is one of Namibia's most important economic partners. The trade relationship is driven largely by mining, while Chinese exports to Namibia include machinery, manufactured goods, and technology. Beyond trade, Chinese investment has expanded into infrastructure, manufacturing, renewable energy, and mineral beneficiation. Chinese-supported projects, including investments in the Husab and Rosing uranium mines, continue to contribute significantly to employment, tax revenues, and Namibia's economy. President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah's visit to China is expected to deepen cooperation in sectors ranging from agriculture and manufacturing to digital innovation, renewable energy, science, and technology. She is scheduled to meet business leaders and visit major manufacturing and innovation centers to explore new investment opportunities aligned with Namibia's industrialization agenda. The latest engagements are expected to further strengthen trade, investment, and people-to-people exchanges as China and Namibia seek new opportunities for shared growth.
That was Enoch Sokolia reporting. China and Finland have pledged to strengthen cooperation and jointly address challenges. The announcement comes following a meeting between Finnish President Alexander Stubb and visiting Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. President Stubb hailed China's remarkable progress since diplomatic ties were established in 1950. He said China brings valuable stability to the world and that the four global initiatives proposed by President Xi Jinping serve as a landmark guidance for the international community. And he added that Finland seeks more high-level exchanges with China, expanded collaboration in the green economy, artificial intelligence, and other emerging sectors, closer multilateral coordination, and joint efforts to tackle global issues. Foreign Minister Wang Yi praised Finland's century-long rejuvenation and development. He said China will remain a key force for global peace, stability, and development, and that it stands ready to work with Finland to uphold their future-oriented new-type cooperative partnership and share development opportunities. During his visit, Wang also held talks with the Finnish foreign minister. Evangelos Sipsis reports.
Earlier on Sunday, Wang Yi met with his counterpart, Elina Valtonen, the Finnish foreign minister, where they discussed numerous of topics from trade to investment, better bilateral ties between China and Finland, and I hope that Finland can also play a significant role when it comes to building more ties between China and the European Union. But also from the Finnish side, it really showed here that they want to continue this dialogue, this stable and pragmatic dialogue between the two sides, between Beijing and Helsinki. It is a very important visit, not only for the Chinese side, but also for the Finnish as well. We have to remind here to our viewers that the president of Finland had visited China over a year ago, and the Prime Minister just visited China earlier this year. It really shows that the both sides want to keep this communication between the two sides open. Now, they discussed, as I mentioned, about trade, about green technology, green development, especially when it comes into health, especially when it comes to new policy, new technologies in renewables, but also conflicts in the Middle East. It shows that the communication between the two sides is strong. It's there. They want to keep it going as it showed in the past. So it shows that not any big announcement might come out from this meeting, but for sure it's a message that shows that the two countries want to continue the dialogue, want to continue a stable relationship, and want to build on that even more in the coming years.
That was Evangelos Sipsis reporting. Coming up, public mourning in Iran for the country's late supreme leader.
Discover the realities and responses to our changing climate with Climate Watch. Uncover critical issues such as the Masai Mara's disrupted wildebeest migration and the drop in the Panama Canal's water levels. Delve into solutions for a sustainable future. Tune in to Climate Watch on your favorite podcast platform. become more eco-conscious, and take action to protect our planet.
A public mourning continues in Iran, with millions walking in a funeral procession for late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. That follows a two-day farewell ceremony on Saturday and Sunday. Top Iranian officials and the brothers of new Supreme Leader Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei attended Sunday's funeral prayers. Ehsan Kevani reports from Tehran.
Today is the final day of ceremonies in Tehran. On Tuesday, the observances will move to the religious city of Qom, some 130 kilometers south of Tehran. And on Wednesday, the cities of Karbala and Najaf in Iraq will host the mourning processions. The burial is scheduled for Thursday in Mashhad in northeastern Iran. But in the early hours of Monday, the procession began in eastern Tehran with the former Supreme Leader's coffin carried on a special refrigerated truck that was prepared just days before the ceremony. The truck will make its way westward through Tehran, and by the end of the day, the coffin will be ready for transports to the city of Qom. Authorities expect millions of mourners to line the route into Tehran, paying tribute not only to the former Supreme Leader, but also to the family members who were killed alongside him back in February. Nearly half of the capital, Tehran, is under heavy traffic restrictions today, with public transportation provided by Tehran's municipality, specifically for the event, being the only viable option today.
That was Ehsan Kevani in Iran. Israeli forces have launched an airstrike targeting a Hezbollah militant cell in southern Lebanon. Israel says the cell, located close to an Israeli-patrolled security zone, poses a threat to troops. Lebanese state media has reported strikes on the outskirts of a town in southern Lebanon, along with demolition explosions and artillery shelling in border areas. The Israeli military chief has vowed to keep fighting against Hezbollah during a visit to Israeli troops stationed in southern Lebanon. Violence has erupted despite a recent framework agreement aiming to end hostilities. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries Plus has met virtually to discuss oil production quotas for August. Any adjustments would follow extreme volatility in global oil prices caused by the war on Iran and the broader Middle East conflict. The United Arab Emirates recently withdrew from OPEC, ending its 58-year membership. John Gambrell with the Associated Press has more from Dubai.
So far, what analysts have suggested is that OPEC will raise its daily production by 188,000 barrels of crude oil a day. Now, that's not a whole lot, but it is slowly starting to chip away at the reduction it made back in 2023, when it halted about 1.65 million barrels of oil production per day across the cartel. At the time, that was coming after some concerns in the banking industry. OPEC wanted to try to dial back its production in order to keep prices stable. OPEC long has been trying to say that it's a lever by which to keep the oil market in check, but we have just seen chaotic scenes over the last months because of the Iran war. For a time, the typical price of a barrel of Brent crude was at $120 US, which meant that people around the world, whether they were trying to fill up jet planes or fill up their car at the petrol pump, really were feeling the pain of those prices. Now, recently we have seen Brent drop back down to about $72 a barrel as of Friday, but the market remains pretty volatile, in part because of the concerns over the Strait of Hormuz, through which about a fifth of all oil and natural gas traded once passed in peacetime, and now it's at the center of disputes over trying to reach a permanent end to the Iran war.
That was John Gambrell reporting. Russia and Ukraine have continued to trade attacks. On Sunday, the Russian Defense Ministry reported that its troops launched strikes against Ukrainian forces and destroyed a bridge and 11 drone control posts. Ukrainian forces have attacked 6 Russian troop concentration areas and 7 command posts and struck 2 bridges used by Russia to transport personnel and ammunition in Donetsk. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia is preparing a new large-scale attack on the country. Russian forces say they've taken control of Kostiantynivka in eastern Ukraine. Kyiv has denied that claim. The Russian Defense Ministry says Ukraine has refused to retrieve the bodies of fallen troops who died in the town. Coming up, China sends more quake aid to Venezuela.
You've been listening to programs from CGTN Radio.
CGTN Radio.
We invite you to visit us online for more audio, pictures, and in-depth reports. At radio.cgtn.com, you can access a wide range of programs and find your favorite news, talk, features, entertainment shows, and podcasts. Hear the difference with CGTN Radio.
China sent 80 tons of humanitarian aid to earthquake-hit Venezuela. The twin quakes last month have killed over 3,300 people as of late Sunday, with over 16,000 injured. More than 6,400 people have been rescued, while over 17,000 remain displaced. China says the aid aims to assist with disaster relief and reconstruction. The shipment arrives in Caracas on Monday. Chen Zhiyuan has more.
China sent the first batch of humanitarian aid to Caracas on Sunday morning on a charter flight. The shipment includes 20 generators, 8 water purification units, and 200 disinfection machines, 200 sets of solar power lighting equipment, more than 1,700 tents, and over 6,700 blankets. This is in addition to immediate cash support released to Venezuela by Beijing. From the list of requested items, we can see that the disaster-stricken areas are in need of tools to generate electricity, ensure safe use of water, and support resettlement of affected people. In a post on social media, Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, said she sincerely thanks President Xi Jinping for the humanitarian gesture. She also expressed gratitude to the Chinese government for its solidarity with and support for the Venezuelan people in the aftermath of the earthquake, and for standing with Venezuela during this difficult time. Additional humanitarian relief supplies will be dispatched from Beijing in the coming days.
That was Chen Zhiyuan reporting. Rescue teams say the chances of finding more survivors from the twin earthquakes in Venezuela are fading, but local and international groups remain rather hopeful as they launch an aid effort to support affected communities. Stephen Gibbs reports from Caracas.
As this crisis moves from a rescue mission to an aid effort, help is coming from all over the world and all over the country. And that includes Venezuela's Chinese community. There are between 200,000 and 400,000 people of Chinese descent in Venezuela. Many run businesses and so have access to what is needed.
We are sending some water today. We have sent medicines, food, tons and tons of food from the entire Chinese group in Venezuela. We calculate we have sent almost 2,000 tons of aid in total.
This restaurant is now open 24 hours and is offering free food to those that need it. This was to be delivered to someone who was in a damaged home.
We are giving free food to the Chinese people here. As they are able to get here, they can come and pick up whatever they need. For the Venezuelan people, the food is being sent to them by helicopter and car. We have sent between 400 and 500 meals this way.
It's not only food that's been sent. This local businessman has been ferrying generators and hard hats to the rescue workers.
And this is not a one-off. The Chinese community here does have the infrastructure needed to keep delivering food and aid for as long as it takes.
That was Stephen Gibbs in Caracas. A second Ebola treatment center is opened in North Kivu, one of the 3 provinces in the Democratic Republic of the Congo affected by the Ebola outbreak. The country has recorded over 1,500 confirmed cases, including more than 500 deaths. Authorities say over 250 patients have recovered. Caroline B. has more.
Amid applause from Ebola response teams, Priska Luanda Kamala, Provincial Minister of Health for North Kivu, cut the symbolic ribbon before touring the new Ebola treatment center in Beni. With a capacity of 20 beds, the center will alleviate the strain on healthcare facilities already under considerable pressure.
This Ebola treatment center is the second standardized center to be built in our province of North Kivu. We have the Ebola treatment center, ETC, in Katwa, and we also have this ETC at the Beni General Hospital. Of course, according to our plans, many more ETCs and transit centers are set to be built. and we are only just getting started. All of this is in the interest of our people because when people are ill, the government has a responsibility to protect its citizens.
The new center isn't the only cause for celebration. Beni has also recorded its first patient to recover from Ebola.
This document certifies that our sister Kavira Mukelu Shalin is no longer considered an Ebola patient, but rather is considered cured, someone who has overcome the disease. So she will help us to create awareness, to help us spread the message within the community that Ebola is not a foregone conclusion.
Medical teams say her recovery demonstrates that early treatment can save lives and are encouraging communities to seek medical care as soon as symptoms appear.
Thank you very much for accepting the care provided by our teams and for the efforts they have made on your behalf. We believe you can tell the community and others that the disease really does exist and that if someone agrees to seek treatment in time, they have a very good chance of recovering.
With new infrastructure, improved care capacity and the first patients now recovered, the response to Ebola is gaining ground in Beni. Health authorities now hope to turn this momentum into a lasting victory over the epidemic.
That was Caroline B. reporting. Legal scholars from over 20 countries are in Beijing to take part in a major conference on the rule of law, seeking deeper cooperation. Fang Yilei has more.
The 2026 Conference on Exchange and Mutual Learning among Rule of Law Civilizations opened in Beijing on Sunday, drawing legal minds from around the world.
It is a pleasure to join you.
Organizers say the goal is to build lasting bridges between different legal traditions at a moment when global governance is facing growing challenges.
The rule of law in just one country is not enough. It's necessary to have a cooperation, a larger cooperation between nations. Even with different legal tradition, we can preserve legal tradition and have the rule of law applied all over.
Among the major outcomes, the launch of a new education alliance linking Chinese universities with their ASEAN counterparts, which along with the establishment of a new China-ASEAN school, is expected to expand academic exchanges, cultivate legal professionals, and promote long-term cooperation across the region.
The launch of the China-ASEAN Alliance for Mutual Learning among Legal Cultures and the launch of the China-ASEAN School actually is the institutional response to global civilization initiative. And this will certainly pave the way for amplify the voice of the global South, particularly China-ASEAN, in the global governance landscape.
Delegates also agreed on a set of initiatives calling for closer cooperation in international rulemaking, comparative law studies, judicial practice, and legal education, while expanding dialogue on emerging challenges. Participating institutions signed more than a dozen cooperation agreements.
One thing I was pleased to see today was the final signing of a new arrangement for the training of AI on an AI program between CUPL and Maksut Narrabri University, one of the leading law schools in Kazakhstan. And what we need to do is bring everybody together, the politicians, the lawyers, the judges, the educators, and the tech developers, to agree what standards should be applicable, how we manage this development together, and how we can support each other with meeting each other's challenges. If we can do that, I think it will break down a lot of barriers.
Across parallel sessions and roundtables, global experts also discussed issues including tackling data governance in the digital economy and cross-border enforcement against financial crime. Participants say they hope this kind of exchange can help shape a more balanced and inclusive approach to global governance, pulling global legal wisdom to advance a community with a shared future for mankind.
That was Fang Yilei reporting. China's National Observatory has extended the alerts for heavy rain and Typhoon Maysak. The typhoon made its second landfall in Guangxi over the weekend, bringing torrential rains to parts of Nanning, Qinzhou, and Beihai. Authorities have activated a flood control emergency response. Some trains operating on the Guangzhou-Jianjiang high-speed railway and other routes have been suspended. Officials have urged the public to stay alert for secondary disasters, including flash floods, landslides, and urban flooding. Northern China's also seeing frequent downpours with particularly intense rainfall in the northeast. An emergency response has been issued in Liaoning and Jilin provinces. Authorities have dispatched 15,000 pieces of disaster relief supplies to Guangxi and Liaoning, and also sent a working group to assist with relief efforts. A heat wave in the Xinjiang region has pushed temperatures to over 40 degrees Celsius, prompting farms in Luntai County to protect livestock. Farmers are using mist spray cooling and adding anti-heat supplements to feed and water to prevent appetite loss and weakened immunity. A farm head Wang Xin explains the measures.
We've upgraded the ventilation in our pens, keeping the air curtains open all day. We also spray mist twice a day during peak heat hours, lasting 4 hours in total. Those measures can lower the body temperature of cattle and sheep by about 5 degrees Celsius.
Local animal husbandry teams have also been sent to assist farms aiming to safeguard the county's 519,000 head of livestock through the summer heat. Now, wildfires in Europe have devastated more than 17,000 hectares of land across a number of countries. Greek authorities have evacuated residents in the country's second largest city as firefighters try to contain a fast-moving wildfire in the city's north. In southern France, the forest fires ravaged more than 1,600 hectares and is still spreading. Officials have closed the third stage of the Tour de France to the public due to the risk from the fire. In central Portugal, a wildfire has scorched at least 12,000 hectares of land. More than 1,200 firefighters, 400 vehicles, and 15 aircraft have been mobilized to contain the blaze. In Spain, about 500 firefighters and emergency responders are battling to contain a wildfire that's destroyed 2,300 hectares of land. Communities in Ghana have begun rebuilding after floods triggered by heavy rain swept through large parts of the country. In the capital, floodwaters once again exposed the city's vulnerability to extreme weather and inadequate drainage. Nabil Ahmed Rufai reports from one of the hardest hit communities in Accra.
Beside this massive drain in Alajo, a suburb of Accra, it's easy to see the sheer force of the floodwaters that swept through this community a week ago. Residents say the water rose to hazardous levels within a matter of hours before spilling over the banks of the drain and rushing into homes with little warning. The flood has left behind mud, debris, and shattered livelihoods. Families are cleaning up what remains of their homes, while others are trying to salvage personal belongings that have been destroyed.
I have lost almost everything. I've had to throw away many of my clothes.
Businesses have also been hit hard. Shop owners say they lost hundreds of dollars worth of goods after floodwaters swept through their premises, leaving many uncertain about how they will recover.
I'm a graphic designer and a teacher as well. All my machines, you can see my laptops and computers, and everything is damaged. I have just given them out as scraps.
For some families, however, the losses go far beyond property. They are now preparing to bury loved ones who died in the floods.
We lost a 9-year-old boy to the floods. He was trapped in the room. His body is still in the morgue.
Seasonal flood is nothing new in Accra, but experts say rapid urbanization, poor drainage systems, construction on wetlands, and heavier rainfall driven by climate change are making these disasters more frequent and more destructive. Residents in this community say their immediate concern is rebuilding their lives. The government has committed $30 million to emergency relief and flood mitigation efforts, while the Ghana Armed Forces and other agencies have been deployed to support cleanup and recovery. But until the underlying causes of flooding here are addressed, many fear it is only a matter of time before the next heavy rains bring another disaster.
That was Nabil Ahmed Rufai reporting. Beijing, thunder showers overnight and through tomorrow. The low's 23. It's up to 31 on Tuesday. Shanghai will be overcast tonight. A light rain developing tomorrow. A low of 26 and a high of 34. Chongqing's clear overnight. Some clouds coming in tomorrow. A low of 27. The high is 37. Nanchang will see thunder showers tonight and tomorrow. A low of 27 and a high of 32 degrees Celsius. It's time for a short break. So far this hour, the presidents of China and Montenegro have exchanged congratulations to mark the 20th anniversary of diplomatic ties. Public mourning continues in Iran following the weekend farewell ceremonies for the country's late supreme leader. And China sent another 80 tons of humanitarian aid to support quake-hit Venezuela. Shane Bigham with you. Stay with us here on the Beijing Hour.
From the refreshing cup of tea that starts your morning to the paper that you write on, the roots of many familiar parts of modern life can be traced back to ancient ideas. Join us on Made in Ancient China and discover how ideas born millennia ago became some of the world's greatest treasures. Made in Ancient China brings you stories of human ambition, inspiration, and connection. Now available on all major podcast platforms.
Shh, listen up. Can you hear the heartbeat of our world? It's vibrant and pulsating with the essence of life itself. From the stem of trees to the gurgle of rivers. From the silent strength of mountains to the icy whispers of glaciers. Even the solid ground beneath our feet. Right there, in the midst of all, beats the heart of humanity. What if those other heartbeats were to stop? Would ours keep on ticking?
Examining the events that impact and shape China and the rest of the world. This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you every weekday. Now here's your host.
Shane Bigham with you on this Monday. Still to come. In business, China's enacted new A-share trading rules to curb speculation and boost liquidity. In sports, Norway pulls off a major upset at the FIFA World Cup. In culture and entertainment, China's summer box office has reached another milestone. To contact us, you can email radio@cgtn.com or follow our X account @CGTN Radio. You're also welcome to subscribe to our Substack newsletter Beyond Beijing for the world's biggest stories, along with sharp insights and exclusive analysis. First of all, though, a check of the day's headlines. Chinese President Xi Jinping and his Montenegro counterpart Yakov Mladic have exchanged congratulations to mark the 20th anniversary of diplomatic ties. President Xi said the two countries have upheld respect, equality, and cooperation over the past 2 decades, setting an example of friendly relations between countries of different sizes. President Mladic said Montenegro and China have developed friendly and cooperative relations based on mutual respect and understanding. He added that Montenegro is willing to take this anniversary as an opportunity to further strengthen bilateral ties, expand cooperation across various fields, and contribute to world peace and development. The Chinese Navy has test-launched a strategic missile by submarine. The PLA Navy said the missile, carrying a dummy warhead, landed precisely within the designated waters of the Pacific Ocean. It said the test was a routine arrangement of its annual training. China and Russia have launched the Joint Sea 2026 exercise at a military port in Qingdao. The two navies conducted exercises in command and tactical coordination. The participating warships will conduct drills on joint reconnaissance, as well as air and missile defense. Chinese research vessel Ke Shui has set sail from Qingdao for a 40-day Western Pacific mission, marking the 15th voyage since 2010. Scientists from over 10 institutions will study ocean currents, climate impacts, and geological evolution. They'll deploy buoys and gliders, including the newly named Langya observation system. This works with an AI ocean model and now predicts typhoons and storm surges. Over 14 years of data from 1,100 stations have supported shipping safety, climate response, and deep-sea resource management. Henan province has been hit by days of intense summer heat, prompting authorities in Zhengzhou to take action to protect outdoor workers. Water trucks, road sweepers, and mist cannon vehicles are spraying water to cool the streets. Environmental sanitation official Li Chengjian says the frequency of these operations has been increased.
We've increased the frequency of water spraying and mist cannon operations to reduce dust and cool the environment. When temperatures exceed 35 degrees Celsius, outdoor workers will take turns to have a rest, and their continuous working hours will be shortened accordingly.
Well, the heat response also extends indoors. More than 2,000 urban service stations have opened across Zhengzhou for outdoor workers and residents. Sanitation workers can get drinking water, charge their phones, and, during the hottest days, enjoy free mung bean soup, a traditional drink believed to help cool the body. A candlelight vigil has taken place at Venezuela's Central University to honor victims of the devastating earthquakes on June 24th. The gathering came as the government confirmed over 2,600 dead and over 12,500 injured. Students and faculty mourned classmates and professors lost in the tragedy. Organizers praised the community's brave relief efforts since day one. Political scientist Laureano Marquez called the vigil a spiritual act to release shared pain.
I believe that we Venezuelans have gone through a very painful time with these two earthquakes that have shaken not only the earth and our lives, but also our souls. And the soul also needs. All week long, everyone has been fighting, everyone has been giving as much as they can, everyone has been working with their hands as best they can. So we also needed a spiritual act to release some of the pain we carry inside, to channel it, to express it, and to share it.
Well, the event coincided with Venezuela's Independence Day celebrations. A super typhoon with equivalent force to a Category 5 hurricane has made landfall on the U.S. island of Rota in the Pacific. The U.S. National Weather Service has warned of catastrophic damage and a life-threatening situation. The weather system is also affecting parts of the Northern Marianas and the nearby U.S. territory of Guam, collectively home to around 210,000 people. You're listening to the Beijing Hour. Coming up in business, China has enacted new A-share trading rules to curb speculation and boost liquidity.
The Beijing Hour, your window on China and the rest of the world.
For stock markets on the Chinese mainland closed lower on Monday. The Shanghai Composite was down slightly. The Shenzhen component lost nearly 1.2%. Poultry and oil refinery shares led the gainers. Timothy Pope has more.
We did see a bit of a shift in trade on the Chinese mainland markets, away from tech names a little bit and towards cyclical stocks. That shift had helped the Shanghai Composite Index stay positive for most of the session, but it did slip into the negative just ahead of closing time. The cooler attitude to tech had the Shenzhen component down by 1.2% and the Chinex board down 1.8%. Instead of tech, we saw gains for energy and financial stocks in the main, with the big banks and coal and oil majors contributing the most to the Shanghai index. Mainland exchanges have also been rolling out those new set of trading rule changes. That's going to affect a fairly small section of the market, 150 stocks, but that is nearly 7 million investors. Brokerages are cautioning retail investors not to mistake this wider trading band for any sort of assessment of reduced risk, because many of these companies still do face a real chance of being delisted.
Well, in Hong Kong, the Hang Seng Index rose over 1.1%. Japan's Nikkei remained almost flat. New trading rules have taken effect across Chinese mainland stock exchanges, with the Shanghai and Shenzhen bourses seeing the most notable changes. To meet the growing needs of institutional investors, after-hours fixed-price trading, previously limited to the Star Market and Chinext, has been expanded to cover all A-shares and ETFs in Shanghai and Shenzhen. Between 3:05 and 3:30, investors are now allowed to trade at the day's closing price. On the main boards, daily price limits for ST and Star ST stocks, those under special treatment for financial or operational risks, have been doubled from 5 to 10%. Analysts say the wider band is expected to improve pricing efficiency and reduce the artificial distortions caused by narrower caps. Meantime, the Shanghai Stock Exchange has replaced continuous bidding with a closing call auction for fund trading. Closing prices are now determined through the call auction process. For more insights on the trading rules, Lily Liu spoke with Chen Jiehe, Chief Investment Officer at Novum Arcade Technologies.
Do you think the new rules will help to reshape order execution models and also large position allocation practices of institutional investors?
Yes, one of the most important features of these new trading rules is that they give more time for the trading after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That means for large funds and institutional investors who have to trade a lot of equities, they will have more time to trade at the fixed price after the regular opening session, which will definitely reduce the fluctuation of prices and make the trading much easier for them. And as a result, will cause less disturbance to the closing price of stocks. Meanwhile, because these new rules are aiming at reducing the fluctuation of prices that could be caused by some details of the old trading rules, that means for the trading department of institutional investors who have a lot of money to handle, the execution and the trading will be easier for them.
And also, we read in the new rules that it aims to tighten supervision over order cancellations, also curb drastic late session price swings, well-quantitative strategies that rely on late market volatility, frequent order and cancel cycles, as well as ultra short-term spread arbitrage, face overall performance reevaluation now and forced strategic transformations.
Yes, definitely. To understand the relation between market efficiency and the extra earning made by the quant funds, we have to know how the funds are making their money. They make their money because the market makes mistakes. They make their money because there is arbitrage opportunities, because the price fluctuation and the market volatility are large enough for the quant programs to grab the smaller opportunities that can hardly be grabbed by human traders. When the market is more smooth with these new rules, when the price fluctuation becomes less and the rule of the market becomes more clear, the advantage will go to the long-term value investors. And for the quant funds and the speculators who are aiming at grabbing opportunities at short term, they will find the situation to be more difficult under these new rules.
That was Chen Jiehe with Novamarket Technologies talking about China's new trading rules. China's industrial tourism sector is rapidly expanding as people seek more in-depth experiences. According to industry research institutions, the sector is growing at an annual rate of 18%. The market size is projected to exceed 300 billion yuan by 2029, and that's around 44 billion US dollars. The Oriental Aerospace Port in East China has attracted over 200,000 visitors with its rocket launch viewing events. Digital technologies are reshaping the traditional factory tour model. Beijing Shougang Park has integrated holographic imaging and digital twin technology, creating a sci-fi theme park where visitors can make a space journey with VR headsets. Data shows currently industrial tourism accounts for less than 5% of China's total tourism revenue, compared to the global average of 10 to 15%. Experts suggest connecting individual sites into regional networks and integrating dining and cultural products into industrial tourism offerings. Chinese-made electric vehicles have entered the Canadian market. Data from Global Affairs Canada shows May was the first month of EV imports from China. Earlier this year, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney signed an initiative with China, allowing the country to export up to 49,000 Chinese EVs per year into Canada at a reduced tariff rate of 6.1%. Anina DeVries has more from Ontario.
EVs at this car dealership in Mississauga, a city just outside of Toronto, are getting their last inspection before going to their owners. The cars are not from China, but that may soon change. Carnick's dealership has been watching China closely and what they are doing to make a better EV product. And it's strongly considering selling EVs from China, says General Manager Noah Liu.
We're going to evaluate their product values, their product quality, as well as see if they're up to the Canadian market's expectation in terms of price, the most important thing, the price, and also after-sales services. They are critical to the Canadian market.
According to a Reuters report, the U.S. company Tesla has already started bringing Chinese-made vehicles into Canada. And it's expected that Geely, a Chinese brand, will export Lotus EVs to Canada starting this month.
So how do Canadians really feel about Chinese EVs coming here? Well, recent surveys show they're very open to it.
An Auto Pacific survey reveals that over half of Canadian car buyers would consider buying a car made in China. Another poll by Nanos Research Group for Bloomberg News says that 53% of Canadians said it wouldn't affect their buying decision if an EV came from China. And Liu says customers have already been expressing some interest. In terms of how Canada's move to work more with China might further strain relations with the U.S., some experts say it was still a reasonable choice.
So having another partners is something that we had to do. So maybe on a high level, it sours the relationship, but at any deeper level, it's a clear step, it's a clear response.
On the flip side, Professor Barron adds that U.S. lawmakers recently introduced legislation that could prevent Chinese EVs from traveling on U.S. roads. This could have an impact on people who may want to travel to the U.S. from Canada. And when it comes to Canada's auto industry, experts say it's important the cars are manufactured here in Canada.
We want beyond just having access to Chinese cars, we want to make sure that jobs are being created here in manufacturing and research and infrastructure, because the future of the industry certainly isn't in hoping that we'll keep making gas cars in Canada.
Back at Carnex, Lou agrees keeping Canadian jobs is important.
For example, the battery, the after-sale services, the aftermarket parts, there's going to be a huge market for all that as well.
For now, the more specific details on exactly how the cars will be made isn't clear, but Canada wants to make sure it's in the driver's seat.
That was Nina DeVries reporting. China's Tianwen-2 probe has successfully arrived at a distance of 20 kilometers from the asteroid 2016 H03, enabling it to begin scientific exploration. According to the China National Space Administration, this came after a 400-day journey of roughly 1 billion kilometers through deep space. During the approach phase, the probe acquired imagery of the asteroid. The administration says the mission team leveraged optical navigation data gathered during the close approach. Next, the probe will progressively conduct more detailed scientific exploration to acquire data on the asteroid's morphology, material composition, and internal structure, laying the groundwork for subsequent sample collection operations. Tianwen-2 is China's first asteroid sample return mission. It launched on May 29th of last year. You're listening to the Beijing Hour. Coming up in sports, Norway pulls off a major upset at the FIFA World Cup.
Sideline Story brings you all things sports related. The hottest topics, latest events, juiciest stories, all with a very personal take. Subscribe to Sideline Story Podcast for heated sports discussions covering events that are happening in China and around the world.
46 past the hour, and checking sports now. At the FIFA World Cup in New Jersey, Norway pulled off a major upset, beating record five-time champions Brazil 2-1 to reach the quarterfinals for the first time in their history. Striker Erling Haaland was the decisive figure, scoring twice in the closing stages to secure victory after a tense and dramatic encounter. Earlier, Brazil missed a penalty after a video review, while Norway's goalkeeper made several key saves to keep his side in the match. The breakthrough came late when Haaland powered in the opening goal before sealing the win deep into stoppage time. Brazil's Neymar later converted a penalty, but it was only a consolation as Norway held on for that famous victory. Norway head coach Ståle Solbakken praised his striker's impact.
Erling is the best goal scorer, and I think that he played an overall good game. He was very active in also the long balls, and he was able to. He looked physically very fit today, and I think it was difficult for the centre backs for Brazil to keep him cool.
Brazil head coach Carlo Ancelotti called on his team to move forward and improve after that defeat.
Obviously, everyone is profoundly disappointed given what happened. I think we didn't do a spectacular World Cup campaign, but we did a good one. And I think we even deserve to win the match at some point today. And when you go through something like that, you have to realize that, hey, this is a defeat. That was a new adventure. That was a new season. And we have to continue doing our jobs. We have to continue to improve.
And for more, Young Guang joins us in the studio. So Brazil was the heavy favorite on paper against Norway, but they ended up on the wrong side of the scoreline. So where did it all go wrong for the heavyweights?
Yes, it was a painful loss for Brazil, especially given the chances they created. A missed penalty, a missed one-on-one, a missed header. Their defeat was a textbook lesson in how wasted opportunities come back to haunt you. If that penalty had gone in, the entire dynamic shifts. Brazil would have controlled the tempo and hit Norway on the break with real venom. And honestly, I still don't understand why Vinicius Jr. didn't take that spot kick. But as they say, there are no ifs in football. Beyond the missed chances, though, we are seeing a fascinating tactical shift. Since Ancelotti took charge, Brazil has abandoned its traditional samba possession game for much more direct, counter-attacking style. The players are executing the system well, but the efficiency just isn't there. That clinical final touch, the very ingredient that makes counter-attacking football lethal, is consistently missing from this squad.
All right, 10 men, England held off a spirited Mexico fight back to secure a dramatic 3-2 victory and book its place in the quarterfinals of the World Cup for a third consecutive tournament. Capacity crowd of over 80,000 at Mexico City's Azteca Stadium had to wait an hour for kickoff because of lightning storms before England made a fast start. Jude Bellingham opened the scoring with a diving header from Bukayo Saka's cross before Harry Kane quickly doubled the lead to stun the home crowd. Mexico responded, and then England was reduced to 10 men in the second half when Gerald Quansah was sent off following a video review for a high challenge. Despite the setback, Kane converted a penalty to restore England's cushion. Mexico also scored from the spot through Raul Jimenez, but could not find an equalizer as the match ended 3-2. England manager Thomas Tuchel praised his side's resilience.
My emotions are very mixed. I'm just proud of the mentality and the attitude. Round of 32, round of 16 is the moment in tournament where you find a way to win. We did it with pure mentality, with heart, overcame every obstacle that was thrown at us. I'm so proud of the mentality and the will of this team. It's a very, very special night for us.
Mexico midfielder Eric Lira reflected on a proud but painful defeat.
Yes, it's going to be a difficult night. But to be honest, as I was saying a few moments ago, I'm filled with pride to be Mexican because I believe we lost with great honor. To be honest, I'm not satisfied, but I'm happy with what we have done.
Looking ahead, England will face Norway and Miami in the quarterfinals. So England survived two real scares now, grinding out tough wins against DR Congo and Mexico. Yang Guang, are these displays a sign of shaky form or evidence that the mental grit they'll need to go all the way with?
Yes, England didn't face the best teams, but the quality of those two wins shouldn't be underestimated. The comeback against the DR Congo reflected their composure under pressure. Facing a one-goal deficit, they didn't panic. They relentlessly pushed forward after the tempo, ran off their markers and backed Harry Kane to deliver, and it paid off. If that game tested England's attack, then Mexico pushed their defense to the absolute limit. After the red card left them with 10 men, Thomas Tuchel didn't hesitate to shift to back five to protect their slender lead. Mexico bombarded them with wave after wave of crosses, but England held firm. Those final 20 minutes are exactly why this squad looks so united, determined and resilient. I think England's morale has genuinely leveled up after these two tests, and they are riding real momentum now.
All right, thank you very much. That was Yang Guang with some World Cup analysis. You're listening to the Beijing Hour, and coming up in culture and entertainment, China's summer box office has reached another milestone.
From north to south, east to west, people in China are chasing their dreams and leaving their mark. Want to know how they beat the odds and made a difference? Footprints brings you the true life stories of their journeys.
52 past the hour. In culture and entertainment, data from online platforms shows that China's total box office revenue for the summer season has so far exceeded 2 billion yuan, roughly $290 million US dollars. Nearly 90 Chinese and foreign films are set to hit theaters during the summer movie season, which runs until the end of August. The movies span a wide range of genres from revolutionary history and comedy to animation and sci-fi. China's total box office revenue in 2026 has topped 17.7 billion yuan so far. More than 70 U.S. university students are in the Chinese city of Chengdu for a youth exchange at Southwest Jiaotong University, experiencing local culture and daily life. Some of them explored a famous local performing art. Zhang Zhenni has more.
When Ryan signed up for this trip, he expected to learn more about China. What he didn't expect was that it would include an afternoon learning Sichuan opera. The Yale University student has studied Chinese for 2 years, hoping one day to experience the culture behind the language.
Right now, Ryan and 5 other students are working on their movements, following the eyes, repeating each gesture till it finally comes natural. They will perform in front of the rest of the team.
But mastering Sichuan opera takes far more than mastering the movements.
I would say it's pretty difficult. We were just learning from our amazing teacher right there, teaching us several different moves, which I'm sure is only just scratching the surface of what's needed to actually perform in Sichuan opera.
Even something as small as the way you move your fingers can be much harder than it looks. And then when you add in all the moves, the jumping, I saw a flip earlier, and the singing, it was definitely a lot harder than I thought it would be.
The next morning, the classroom is replaced by a tea house in Chengdu's People's Park. There, students share what they've learned from different cultural experiences across the city.
This was just a really fun experience. Sichuan opera is not just one thing. It's not just opera, it's not just singing, it's not just dancing. It can encompass truly anything, and I think that's what makes the performers so masterful and so adaptable.
We learned
basic kung fu, movements and breathing techniques. But we also, what I thought was awesome was we got to work with and practice with like a lot of kids that were learning kung fu as well, and we got to meet their families, and it was fantastic. More of a cultural exchange more than just kung fu itself.
Ryan came to Chengdu hoping to experience the culture behind the language. He wasn't the only one. For many in the group, the memories they'll take home are not just the places they visit, but the people they meet and the experiences they share.
That was Zhang Jianni reporting. Shanghai's historic Yuyuan Garden is transformed with giant anime installations, glowing lanterns, and augmented reality experiences. The Grand Yuyuan Summer Fantasy Night Festival run through August 23rd, with free entry to the outdoor area of the shopping complex. The event brings 4 popular Chinese anime series from the video platform Bilibili into the heart of the old town's classical architecture. Visitors can also use augmented reality to see animated characters appear over the iconic zigzag bridge, while nighttime lantern walks and themed decorations create what organizers call a night dungeon walk experience. The festival extends eastward to the BFC Bund Finance Center, where oversized sculptures and a waterside DJ stage add to the summer atmosphere. Food and culture are also part of the experience, with historic restaurants offering anime-inspired menus, while more than 10 shops are taking part in a stamp collection trail offering rewards across the area. A cosplay parade on July 11th will be followed by traditional craft workshops and a Chinese Valentine's Day temple fair in early August, blending intangible cultural heritage with modern animation aesthetics. Legoland Shanghai Resort has marked its first anniversary with a record-breaking achievement, becoming the fastest Legoland resort worldwide to welcome more than 2 million visitors. The resort also reported the highest first-year visitor growth among all Legoland parks globally. Families with children made up more than 80% of the guests. While most visitors come from the Yangtze River Delta region, the attraction is also drawing tourists from farther afield, including Beijing, Guangdong, and Shandong. Merlin Entertainment said the performance highlights strong momentum in China's family tourism market. We're at 57 past the hour. Beijing getting thunder showers overnight and tomorrow. A low of 23. It's up to 31 degrees on Tuesday. Shanghai will be overcast tonight. Rain developing tomorrow. A low of 26 and a high of 34. Chongqing will be clear overnight. Clouds coming in tomorrow. A low of 27. The high is 37. Nanchang will see thunder showers tonight and tomorrow. A low of 27 and a high of 32. Laos is getting cloudy skies overnight. Showers coming in tomorrow. A low of 14 and a high of 28 degrees. Elsewhere in Asia, Islamabad will see heavy rainfall tonight, easing to moderate tomorrow, a low of 27, and it's up to 37 on Tuesday. And that's it for this edition of the Beijing Hour. Making news today, presidents of China and Montenegro have exchanged congratulations to mark the 20th anniversary of diplomatic ties. And public mourning continues in Iran following the weekend farewell ceremony for the country's late supreme leader. On behalf of the staff, Shane Bigham in the Chinese capital, hoping you'll join us for the next edition of the Beijing Hour and open a window to the world together.
The best military commander is not he who fights 100 battles and wins every one of them. The best military strategy does not lead to the desiccation of the enemy's capital city. Decoding the Art of War will help you understand why there's no art in war and how Sun Tzu stayed undefeatable using the science of war, with fun stories and insightful breakdown of famous battles. Find Decoding the Art of War wherever you listen.
A poem for the Tibetan antelope, the gentle spirit of the Qinghai Seazong Plateau, spoken by voices from across the world. Every spring, female antelopes migrate hundreds of miles to Zhuonai Lake to give birth, as we build gentle passages for their journey.
Hello, little Tibetan antelope, eyes opening to the light for the very first time.
To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower.
So much wonder calls for so much courage. But have no fear, the way home is right there, waiting for you.
From the snows of Kunlun to the winds of Tangula, the wilderness will teach me to be strong.
But the call of life itself never ceases.
A train runs toward the horizon, A road stretches through the wilderness.
The bridge that soars through the clouds is no barrier across the land, but a gateway to where I truly belong.
Tibetan antelope's hoofprints loosen the soil, letting snow melt sink into the earth.
Human presence passes through,
but we've never walked this land alone.